Alright, Fast Johnny back here for another one. I'm gonna do a bit different one today because I watched a documentary on Matthew Perry the other night, and it brought up some strange choices that were made by certain people. Just my opinion again, normally. So let's go straight into it. Matthew Perry, acute things of ketamine overdose. Um, about four or five people have been indicted in America, and rightly so. They will be getting quite a lot of time in prison, I should imagine, because that's not going to go lightly. But what I wanted to talk most about was the fact that he was under that treatment in the first place, as that is, to me, is ridiculous. It, he self confessed addict. Why would you give someone a treatment, even if it works or doesn't, that it's a highly addictive opioid? Uh, who who would even suggest that to a person that's had addiction problems in the past? It was not only alcohol; it was prescription drugs that he was taking. So it's beyond me how someone could say, "Oh yeah, we'll give you a ketamine shot." Um, that's like pouring petrol on a fire. I'm sorry, but it is. Um, I think it just goes to show. This is only a few years ago that it happened. I think it was 2023 or something like that. It goes to show there's still a long way to go in the treatment of mental illness. Obviously, Matthew Perry had a lot of personal demons himself, and it's widely reported that he spent $7 million on trying to get clean from his addictions. But I don't think it's one of the ones. How can I say this? It. I think a lot of times you pay your money, you go into the treatment centre, they're like, right, you're fine now, and they haven't even started to address the issue of why. Um, I could be wrong because I've never been in one myself, but I haven't been in one. But technically, I've done a course on one because I had to pass this thing that says I wasn't addicted to alcohol, which I wasn't, to get therapy, which was ridiculous because they were just like, "Why are you even here?" I'm just like, "Oh, I need to psychology, so I can't get it without you saying that I'm not an alcoholic." And they were just like, "All right then." So it was a complete waste of 6 weeks of my life. But luckily enough, well, say luckily, it was during COVID time, so it was all done on Zoom. So yeah, it wasn't. I personally got nothing out of it. Um, I don't think the person that was meant to be helping me got anything out of it either. And it was just, yeah, rubbish. 1 in the afternoon, and just like, this is a load of tripe, not helping me one bit. All I'm doing is doing this to get the help that I want. And I think that's also slightly a bit of a problem. If we go back to the Matthew Perry thing, is probably what they've done He's cleaned out his system, done all the medical checks and everything, without addressing any of his demons, which clearly he had. So, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to get into today. Is if these problems are still happening in 2023, like I say, I think it was 23, 2 years, only 2 years ago. We need people need to do a lot more to get people the help that they actually need. And is there actually the help out there that everyone needs? Possibly not. It's all right getting someone that's passed a degree, but if people aren't doing enough to make people have the conversation and look in themselves, then it's never going to fix the problem if you're not dealing with the problem. You deal with the immediate problem, yeah, first, but then you've got to go deeper into the problem and find the root causes of said problem. Otherwise, it's going to be just a complete repeat cycle all the time, because people will go to their way of coping, shall we say, their coping mechanism. So when I'm really low, I just drink too much. I drink too much anyway, but when I'm really down in there, I am that's kind of my escape, my to go to, my drug, if you will. And yeah, I've been to very dark places with doing that. It doesn't help, I know that, but sometimes it is what happens. And I also have a long history of self harming. Um, it's kind of when the alcohol isn't making me feel any better at that point. That's usually the next thing that comes. Um, so, although it is just a way of coping, and I imagine others have their own vices and ways that they do it. Obviously, like I say, I was going on the Matthew Perry documentary. Obviously, his was prescription pills, drink, and at the end, obviously, they tried this ketamine thing on him, and lo and behold, he has a ketamine overdose. Uh, uh, that's some pretty hard drug to put some on for me. It is like, it's beyond me. Like I say, there's a lot of people, well, 4 or 5 people that are gonna get some a lot of time in jail, and rightly so. But I think the question needs to be around his practitioner. Don't know what they're called in America, but over here they're general practitioners. Um, that 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 needs to be held to account as well. Over here, there'd probably be an inquiry for about 6 weeks into what happened. I don't know if it's the same in America, but my first question in that inquiry would be, why did you do that? Because you don't give an addict something really, really addictive. It's yeah, you don't. Um, so I think that needs to be the practices of people need to be held to account for it. Um, because if you're not held to account and people are actually telling you, yeah, you did a good job, it's just unfortunate or something like that, you're never going to be any better at your job because people are saying, well, you did all you could, yeah, 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 yeah. If people said, well, you did that, but how about look at it this way? Because there's another way that you could take this. And experience is how you learn in jobs because that's all it really needs is someone to turn it on its head. Well, there is this way, but there's also this way, and said way might be a lot better. But if you don't question the practices or decisions that are made in a person's health thing, care, then you're always going to get the same results because you're always going to do the same things. It's a lot of learning has been done over the years, especially, like I say, last 10, 15 years. It's come on leaps and bounds, but I don't. It goes to show that it hasn't come on enough that we're still getting cases like this. This isn't just. This is only because it's a Matthew Perry, obviously, who's in Friends, very famous person, that it's highlighted. But I can guarantee this kind of thing is happening every day and probably just down the road from where I live as well, every day. Um, people are they're being looked after to an extent, but they're probably their care is not what it should be or what it could be. I wouldn't say should be because I don't think people have the knowledge. Just so I was going to say intelligence for some reason. I've got the intelligence, but I don't have the knowledge of what they need. They've got all the books in the world that say, "Oh, do this, do this, do this," but the knowledge would be more like, "Well, don't do this." It'd be more correct. The don'ts. If he's like this, don't do this, don't do that. Try this, try that. Yeah, I think this is kind of the important conversation because it's it's not always about the help. It's the correct help that you need. I mean, I've been passed from pillar to post, and over the years, has anything been the help that I need? Some of it, a lot, yeah. Some of it's been brilliant. I'd say some of it's been an absolute waste of everyone's time, um, including the people that are there to potentially help me. So I think there's a lot that people can learn from just being in the real world a little bit, maybe. Um, although there's probably loads of people that are going to watch this and say, "Yeah, you're right. What can you do?" But well, hopefully, like sooner or later, someone will actually have a look at one of these videos who's actually in charge of something and say, "Well, hang on, he's got a point." But it's the way I'm doing this is I'm trying to sort of be a voice, but I I'm not a one man army. I'm not gonna change things on my own. It needs everyone, everyone who has a mental illness, an addiction problem. It needs them all to speak up and say, "Hang on, you're doing this wrong," because there's got to be a better way, and that we don't have situations as much of people dying from basically their illness that has never been sorted out and probably never known. So it's a lot to think about because you're tearing up the rule book, so to speak. But it's a very good saying. You've got to know your audience, and do the doctors really know their patient that well? I would say no. You're just there. You're in England of your NHS number, your name and address. Um, they won't treat you individually. It's the best word I could probably come up with. Yeah, individually, because everyone is different. That's why life is sometimes so really good, because everyone is different. Everyone's is their own person. So that doesn't come across in a textbook. So I think that's where you've got to go and treat the person, and don't treat a patient, make it a person, get to know them better. All this could be done in just a non-assessment kind of way. If you just have a conversation. I know sometimes it's difficult to talk when you've got anxiety and everything. I've been the same. I've been in assessments and barely said a word, but it's because I'm getting asked the same thing all the time, and I just don't want to speak to anyone about that. But occasionally I do speak more, but I think it should be a little bit more personal. Um, be interesting to see what people's thoughts are on this subject, because no, it's a bit of a touchy one, but like I say, it can be an extremely important thing that isn't going as well as it should be at this time, and it's kind of sad to see. Really is. I'd like to know you all, so please like and subscribe to the channel, because it will help get me out there and more people watching this. Like I say, if I can only help one person, then I've done my job. That's what I set out to do, just help people. It'd be interesting to know if any doctors are on the YouTube and have a look at times, because I can't be the only one that, in fact, I know that I'm not the only one doing stuff like this. So they, the doctors and everyone, can learn from just watching content creators' videos, because this is what we are. Everyone is different, and this is how it should be. So yeah, be interesting to see if anyone reacts to it, shall we say. I'm going to leave it there because I know it's a little bit off topic. I haven't done the second part of my medication will be coming soon. I just felt that I had to push this video out there first because I think it's slightly a little bit more important and probably a bit more interesting than what I take medication wise or what I stop taking medication wise. So I'm going to leave it there. Like I say, like, subscribe to the channel and share the hell out of it. All right, Fast Johnny out. Thanks.